Lorraine, I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about how employers should address the intersectionality of their employees.
Well, intersectionality is an issue that's on many people's minds. And when we say intersectionality, we talk about the multiple identities we all have, gender, race, ethnicity, that we bring to work. So Catalyst has been really focused on this. In fact, we did a really important research paper around the emotional tax of women of color in the United States, that because they are generally poorly represented, especially in professional ranks, they tend to have to project a certain image that's not that they're not comfortable with, and that puts a lot of stress on them. So you have higher turnover, sleeplessness, lack of performance. Companies need to really be aware of these issues so that they can really make people feel comfortable about bringing their full identity to work and then feel comfortable being part of the team. So we need to train managers to understand these issues, have the frank, open, difficult conversations around this, so we get to understand each other and what some of these behaviors really mean in their culture.
Mm-hmm. So for some of our viewers who might not be familiar with some of these terms, Lorraine, maybe you could define the term emotional tax.
Well, emotional tax is a term that we use to talk about the tax that people of color, women of color in particular, have as being the only in many situations in the workplace. And that means things like that they have sleeplessness, there's more turnover, they can't be as productive. It's a tax they have, and having to present themselves as something other than they feel comfortable with on a day-to-day basis culturally.
So sitting here, it's so interesting listening to you define something that, honestly, Lorraine, I have felt many times during my career. I can very happily share that it's no longer an issue in my workplace, but I remember being a baby lawyer and oftentimes being the only woman in the room, and then certainly the only person of color in the room. And I never felt like I had the terminology to articulate what that visceral feeling was for me. And so I thank you for giving me some new vocab to be able to discuss things that I experienced in my past.